Good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News here on MTVsports. You're here with me, Natasha Disanaika. Let's start off with a look at your headlines. 4 MOUs signed between Sri Lanka and Bahrain. Decision made to not raise expressway bus fares. Seven army personnel injured following an accident involving an army truck in Dambulla. An argumentative situation arises during a meeting of the Trincomalee District Development Committee. 18 killed in a massive storm in the US. Moving on to your stories in detail now, the National Building Research Organization has requested the residents of areas at a risk of landslides in the Matale, Kegol and Ratnapura districts to remain vigilant in this regard. Senior researcher of the National Building Research Organization, Kumari Veerasinghe, said that if rains continue, there is a risk of landslides taking place in these districts. The NBRO said that risk of landslides is also prevalent in the Nuwara and Kandy districts as well. Meanwhile, the Department of Meteorology said that showers or thunder showers could occur in the afternoon or night in most provinces today. Duty meteorologist at the Met Department, Ajit Vijayamana, said that up to 100 millimeters of rainfall could be expected in certain areas.
Intertropical convergence zone, that is the area where the winds coming from northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere meet, is affecting the weather over the country. Thunder showers will develop over most parts of the island during the afternoon and night. Heavy falls, that is more than 100 millimeters, are also likely at some places. Showers can be expected in the coastal areas from Colombo to Batticaloa, Gol and Hambantota during the morning too. There may be temporary localized strong winds during thunder showers. General public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize the damages caused by lightning activities. I am Ajit Vijayamana.
Sri Lanka and Bahrain have signed 4 MOUs to further strengthen ties. Sri Lanka and Bahrain signed 3 memorandums of understanding on sports, culture and arts and another between the University of Colombo and the University of Bahrain. The President's spokesperson and international media unit said that the agreements aim to further collaborate and strengthen the relations between the two countries. President Mahinda Rajapaksa arrived in Bahrain yesterday on an official 2-day state visit to the Middle East nation. Minister of External Affairs Professor G.L. Pires, Minister of Foreign Employment Promotion and Welfare Dylan Pereira, and Secretary to the President Lalit Veeratunga are among the delegation accompanying the President. Moving on, 7 army personnel were injured when an army truck met with an accident close to the 76-kilometer milepost in Bulagala Junction on the Dambulla Anuradhapura main road.
The police media unit said that the truck, which was travelling to Colombo, veered off the road and crashed onto a tree. The accident took place at 12:45 this morning while heading back to Colombo after visiting the Chundikulam army camp in Jaffna. According to the police, a second lieutenant who was travelling in the front of the truck and 3 others were seriously injured. Another 4 army personnel travelling in the back were also injured. Our correspondent based in the area said that a joint effort by the fire extinguishing unit of the Dambulla Municipal Council, the Dambulla Police and the army personnel based in Dambulla took almost an hour to rescue a trapped soldier. The police media unit said that the injured are receiving treatment at the Dambulla hospital.
Meanwhile, 1 person has been killed by being knocked down by a private bus in the Badulla bus station. The police stated that this bus was plying from Badulla to Kandorua at around 6:45 this morning when it knocked down the individual. The deceased has been identified as a 63-year-old resident of the Yalpanvatta area in Badulla. The driver of the bus has been taken into custody in this regard. Moving on, a decision has been made not to increase the bus fares on the Southern and Colombo-Katunaika Expressway that were reduced for the festive season.
Deputy Chairman of the Sri Lanka Transport Board, L.A. Vimalaratne, stated that the bus fares which were reduced during the festive season was in effect till yesterday. He also stated that the bus fares which were reduced for the convenience of the public will not be increased. He further stated that due to this reduction in the bus fares of the buses plying along the expressways, a high number of people have been reportedly using buses as a mode of transport. L.A. Vimalaratne stated that steps have been taken to deploy more buses due to this reason.
මෙයාලි දැන් අද රැයට ගමට වැදුනවාම අද ජීවිත කීයක් විනාශ කරයිද දේපල කීයක් විනාශ කරයිද කියලා හිතා ගන්න පුළුවන්ද බලන්න මෙයාලි ටික.
Now, the locals in the village of Viranagama in Mahayangane lament that they are facing a threat by a herd of wild elephants that are roaming in the area over the past few days. According to our correspondent in the area, the herd comprises of 36 adult and young wild elephants.
Locals point out that a herd of wild elephants are roaming around the Virangama area in Mahayangane for the past 4 days. 6 wild elephants are believed to have strayed into the area from the Waskamo Forest Reserve. A physically challenged pachyderm can also be witnessed among the others in the herd of wild elephants. The villagers point out that the malfunctioned electric fence set up around the village from Alutwarama to Divula Palace has attributed to the wild elephants straying into the area.
An electric fence was set up. They said that the electricity was supplied to it. However, there is no fence at present, just 2 parallel poles. The herd of 16 wild elephants had grown to over 34 wild elephants. Today, these elephants had come closer to the village. Tomorrow, there may be a loss of life. We can farm only in a quarter of an acre plot of land. In a week, we hope to engage in harvesting. We request the government to take steps to chase away the wild elephants.
A house on the Viranagama village and a shop were badly damaged last night by wild elephants. Wild elephants came to our house even last evening. Wild elephants damaged our houses on 3 previous occasions as well. We are in fear and we cannot sleep. We cannot eat on time. Usually there are only few elephants, but this number has grown to almost 35. Please provide electricity to the electric fence. The villagers point out that although they have informed the wildlife authorities over this matter, they are yet to respond. Newsfirst contacted the Assistant Director of Wildlife in the Central Province, M.A. Chitrasena, and he said that a solution will be provided to the prevailing issue.
Moving on to yet another headline-making story now. An argumentative situation arose during the Trincomalee District Development Committee meeting yesterday. Now, the committee meeting was held yesterday under the patronage of Deputy Ministers and Co-Chairman of the committee, MKDS Gunawardena and Susantha Punchinilame. The Trincomalee District Development Committee meeting was held at the Trincomalee District Secretariat. An argumentative situation arose regarding the funds to be allocated to the representatives of local government and provincial councils for development activities. The situation arose between the chairperson of the Eastern Provincial Council, Aryavati Galapati, and the co-chairman, MKDS Gunawardena, and chairman Susantha Punchinilame. The Bibila Divisional Coordinating Committee meeting was held yesterday under the auspices of Minister Vijay Soisa. A number of officials from the area, including Provincial Council Chairman Chandrasekhara Bandara, participated at the event yesterday. The minister also expressed his views on the protests on the construction of the proposed Kiri Ibban hydropower station.
If any development project is being conducted, I should be informed. I was not informed of such a project. Protest should be made after learning of the scientific background to it. There is a story about a donkey and how the father and the son took it to the market. The father and the son had to end up carrying their donkey to the market. Whatever is said by the people cannot be done. it is the government's duty to implement its development principles because they are ultimately responsible for the people of the country.
Now, the Around the World team that is spreading the message of the World Conference on Youth 2014 is currently in Moscow, Russia. Newsfirst Ramesh Bandara reports.
Around the World in 40 days.
A very good morning. The Around the World team is joining you from Moscow in the heart of Russia. The Around the World team is due to meet with several high-level officials during our stay in Moscow to create awareness on the World Conference on Youth. We will first be meeting with the Deputy Director of the Department of State Policy on Youth and Child Welfare attached to the Ministry of Education and Science of Russia, Ms. Volkova Svetlana, and she will be accompanied by Mr. Zakrovsky Anton, the senior special expert on international department, as well as a number of other officials from the Federal Agency of Youth Affairs as well as social organizations. Following this meeting, the Around the World team will to iconic locations in the Moscow city. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Ramesh Bandara, with your commentary from Moscow, Russia.
Moving on to other news now, a media briefing was held in Colombo yesterday on the progress made by the Postal Department and its future programs.
The trust built between the Postal Custom and the Postal Service provides us great strength to take this service forward. Presently, we have achieved great progress in this service. Various news stories published by the media on the postal services recently are completely false. Instead of providing only the traditional postal services, we have commenced new services essential for the consumer. Everyone says that the Department of Post is an institution that incurs huge losses. This institution was not established on the premise of earning a profit. We currently have a workforce of nearly 27,000 and there are places in the operations department which are staffed 24 hours a day. There's also a massive transport network. Therefore, for an operation this big, a huge cost must be incurred. Indirectly, the money obtained from the treasury is used to provide these services to the public from their funds.
Minister of Irrigation and Water Resources Management Nimal Siripala de Silva says that the knowledge of the market should be improved in order to gain more profit from agriculture. He made this statement at a farming convention held in Ambalipitia yesterday. The Farmers' Convention of the Mahavali Valava zone was held under the auspices of the Minister of Irrigation and Water Resources Management Nimal Siripala de Silva.
Instead of following the traditional method of sowing rice, you cultivate a subsidiary crop on your land with or without water. You could create a balance to the rice cultivation and also gain a good profit. However, if all of you cultivate rice and the production exceeds the demand within the country, the price will drop. Agriculture is not only production, and it also requires knowledge of the market. You could change your attitude based on this. If you do not do this, agriculture will not continue to be a profitable venture.
Now, an audit survey has revealed that certain bottled water in the market do not meet the required standards. Auditor General H.A. Samaravira said that plans have been made to present the audit reports and other documents to Parliament.